Black Letter Press's edition of the Esoterism of Dante in its first edition, that you can see here, and also a second edition which has already been printed since there were only, at the time of recording, I think there are only between 10 and possibly even fewer than that, copies of the first edition remaining. There were 250 copies printed, and yeah, everyone who doesn't make it through to the first edition will be getting the second edition. So this is a book that I've been spending pretty much every free moment of last year translating. Of course, now that I have left my day job, I'm going to have a bit more time for this kind of thing, but at the time this was, yeah, pretty much every single moment of free time that I had where I also had any kind of energy. This is what I was doing. I was translating this, and it's been a wonderful experience, to be honest with you, translating this text. I don't agree with absolutely everything that René Guénon is saying here. However, I've got a very decent amount of respect for René Guénon. He is one of the people who spearheaded the perennialist movement at the beginning of the 20th century. And I owe that movement in general quite a debt of gratitude. I am very pleased with the outcome that Black Letter Press have produced for us here. A very, very beautiful cover by Sarah B. Bollen, I think is the name of the artist who is, yeah, here we are, who has created that lovely, lovely design here. And of course the layout by Alice Rocchetti, who invariably does a fantastic job of making the text readable despite quite a small format, right? After all, these are little books. You can see it compared to my hand. It is a little book, and the font is quite small and yet surprisingly readable. Right, there we are. The book itself is quite short. It comes in at just over 100 pages, and you'll learn in here what René Guénon believes Dante was actually getting at with his Divine Comedy, and his idea is that this is all to do with initiation and initiatory groups, societies and so on. Starting from the Templars through to Freemasonry and others, he's really looking at what other authors have said in the past about Dante's Divine Comedy and criticizing or critiquing those previous opinions, giving his reasons why he thinks that those are good or not so good opinions, and then giving his own opinion of what's really going on with the structure of the text and the various symbols that are used throughout the text, and just the narrative in general. It's probably quite easy to see parallels between the Divine Comedy, where Dante himself is led by Virgil down into the underworld first, and then into purgatory, and then into heaven. And yeah, as I say, I've learned so much by translating this book. I've really found what he's written. What he's written is really fascinating. His style can be a little pompous and self-satisfied. I have to admit, you know, he does commit the sin of anyone with half a brain can see that that this is right or that this is wrong, quite a bit. But nevertheless, despite some of the rather pompous form at times that I've done my very best to subdue to an extent, you know, so that the content of what he's actually saying can actually come through and be useful for the reader. Despite all that, it makes for very enlightening reading. Yeah, there we are. So the book itself is buckram. You can see that on this first edition, the stamp hasn't always completely taken. You can see these little lines. It's not very perceptible, but it is nevertheless there. You can see that, you know, this probably should have been just completely golden. And on the second edition, which is not buckram, right? So this is just textured paper. That has taken a lot better, right? It's taken a lot more consistently. There are fewer flaws here in the design. Nevertheless, this second edition is not buckram. It will not last anywhere near as long as the first edition, although it will last very long, because black letter presses books are invariably of very high quality. You can see that they're hand sewn. This second edition has got a black ribbon, whereas the first edition has got a red ribbon. It's really just a question of taste, to be honest with you. But yes, the feel of this is really nice. It feels, it's, you know, this soft material. It's really, really lovely. This also feels very nice, but you can tell that it's not real buckram, right? It is textured paper. There we are. Yeah, there's one decision that I really appreciate is the decision to keep the notes as footnotes and not as end notes, so that you can just go directly to the, you know, to the explanation, or to the afterthought, or the additional thought. Some of the footnotes are references for sure, but there is a lot of additional material, additional thinking, some subtleties elucidated and so on in the footnotes. And yeah, there we go. Let me show you just the first page there, which is very beautifully illustrated. There we are. I hope the review was useful for you. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe down below. The link for purchasing the book is down in the description as well. As I say, at the time of recording, there are just a few copies of this first edition remaining, but the second edition has already been printed, as you can see, so there'll be no further waits. There was quite a long wait between the moment when this book was announced and the moment where it's now in buyers' hands. But yeah, very, very pleased that this wait is now over. So yeah, thank you so much, Claudio and Alice Ricchetti, for making such a lovely object. It was a real honour to be allowed to be a part of it. There we go. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care of yourselves. See you soon with another video. Bye-bye.